Okay, hello guys, welcome back again to these video tutorials. Now, okay, just to remind you, we are in machine learning in the YES lab training. Okay, so in the previous videos, we actually did discuss how to add and remove, how to add and remove columns and rows. Okay, it was in previous two videos. Now, in this video, you're going to learn something called data slicing. Now, what actually data slicing is? Data slicing means selecting a portion of a data set. You see, it's kind of like locating it. You might need it in several times. And myself, in my personal experience, I mostly use it, especially when I have to split the training and testing data. You can use, I know you can use the X-train, the X-train test split that is built in the scikit-learn. But also sometimes if you want to do it manually, it's okay that you can just select a portion, part of your data sets, and then you see, and then you just assign it probably to your, training data, and some of them to your testing data. Along other users, you can just use it in different places. So it's actually very useful. Okay, so these two functions, one is called loc and the other one is called iloc. So this works pretty similar, but the main difference, however, the main difference is with the loc function, you're dealing with the labels, the non-integers, but the iloc, as it stands for integers, you see. So iloc is like location of integers. So you're using the numbers, okay? You're using the numbers to locate it. So it depends on how your data set looks like and how you want to go about it, okay? So what you say is location is you're selecting a portion of your data sets. You're selecting some of the rows and columns based on the labels. How are they been labeled? But if they're not labeled, you can just use the numbers, like the indices, okay, as in integers, numerals. That's how you use iloc. Now, let's create as well, a dummy data set like we always do. By now, you should be able to do this. Okay, I'm taking too much time in these pandas because this is actually where you need to do, if you have enough knowledge here, it's easy for you to do that, like data cleaning, processing, analysis, where you can just do so much with your data sets, analyzing them, understanding them. So it's better when you're doing further modifications, classifications, and any other thought of machine learning, the task that you actually have at hand. So now, let's just say we create a dummy data sets. Okay, I'll just change this into a code. Creating dummy data set to work with. And what's based on a dictionary? I like using a dictionary. I've shown how to create a dictionary or a list. So I'll just go with a dictionary. I'll say maybe I'll call this a league. This is some sports leagues. It doesn't have to be any specific sport. I'll just create like, or maybe I'll say league news or league info. And then I'll start by first saying, first column is probably going to be teams, the teams. And then I'll just put some teams there. The first team, you can just call this alpha team. Again, these teams doesn't have to make any meaning. I'll just throw in some random team names, alpha teams, and then I'll say the beta team, I'll say here the navy team. Again, say team Rambo, just 20 teams. Maybe this is team Ninja. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because you're going to locate, so it's better if you have like at least some adequate data sets to do that. Okay, so another team will be maybe the Warriors. maybe the winners. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me add 3 more. And then assassins. And maybe add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Another team. Say team jackpot. Maybe team Dharma. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 teams. It should be fine. That's the first column, teams. Okay, then I'll add another column. Maybe you'll say, I'll call the goals. So just print some random numbers of the goals, like 10 different numbers, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because I'm going to convert this into a data frame. So if I don't put, the length, the equal length, I'll just get an error. That's why I'm trying to be very careful when counting all the time. But if you're just going to be a dictionary like this, it doesn't have a problem. It doesn't have to be equal. So team goals, I'll say points maybe. So for the points, I'll just put, again, throw in some random numbers, like maybe the hundreds. Just put in some random points. I don't even know which kind of game is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me run it, see if I have any errors. No errors, of course, I shouldn't get error here. Now we convert them into a data frame because that we're working with Pandas data frame, as you know. If you haven't watched the previous videos, please kindly go back and just watch the previous videos so that you get along with what we're doing exactly here. But again, if your aim is just to learn the iloc, it's okay. So I'm going to put a data frame here. This is basically, I'm calling a function. So I'll just pass the first argument of this function is going to be this dictionary. And then I'm going to specify the indexes. So if I just put it like this should be fine as well. Oh, my arrays must all be same length. Okay, may have missed something here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, I overlooked this one. Also, just go ahead and feed. Okay, so this should just run fine. Okay, looks like I didn't run this one. Okay, so now it's okay. This is already data frame, and if I want to display this, I'll just say let's view. The view is going to be something like this. Yeah, so from what I want to discuss today, this looks like an adequate data set. Now you can search around, we can just find using this loc and iloc functions. But for now, let's just look on something. As you can see here, the indices by default, we didn't specify any index, okay? So they by default just take numerals like from 0 until you are at the end of your data set, okay? The last row. So now, because I'm going to demonstrate this loc, as I said in loc, you search by using labels, and labels which means are numbers. So it's better if I specify the indexes, okay? Now for you, you can create this data set or maybe 2 different data sets. Yeah, maybe we can do that. or I can just come here and just update this one and say index, then put on the values. So the values will be, you can say maybe the first one is A. I just put any values that are labeled, that are not numbers. So the aim here is to change these from 0 to 9. Okay, these 10, I mean, to put the labels in here. So I'll just go real quick. A, B, C, D, E. So this will just go through 10, I mean, the 10. So I think it take us to J. So G. This one, okay. Okay, let's run this one. Now it has changed. This is exactly what we wanted. Again, we are putting the labels in here, both the rows and the columns, simply because we're going to demonstrate these two methods. This one, the log, it works with, I mean, it works with the labels, non-numerals. This one works with the numerals, which are the labels. So that's exactly what we're doing why we're doing this one. So now let's start with the first one. We're going to do our data slicing again. I don't know why it's bringing this by default. It should be a code. So now, data slicing with the log method. Okay, dot log method. So now, suppose we want to just pick, I mean, some of the data here. What you do is just pass on, I mean, just call your object, your data frame. In this case is a league info. Say in the league info dot log. So you're looking for the location. Okay. So the location, you just start with the row and column. So you can specify a row and a column, or you can just use one of them. So for instance, we just say, no, sorry, we should just put these brackets, okay? Say, because it's a label, you have to put a string, okay? So here, say we put an A. Just observe what happens, okay? It tells you that you have the column called teams. So this A, if you're searching for it, it is from like teams, which is an alpha team, the name of the team. And the column, it is, the value is 34. The goals, the points, that's 100. So if you're looking for this specific, I mean, item in your data frame, it just brings you like the results. Okay, so that's one thing. Again, this is just further division. You can change, you can opt say specify maybe a row. You can specify a row by saying league info dot the log method, and then say again it is an A. Now, okay, before putting it like this, you can put, so inside you have the first bracket. So the first pair of brackets, this stands for the rows, and then put another one, this is the column. So in this side you put rows, but in this side you put columns, okay? All right, so in here where you put rows, you can just say, I want row number A, which is the first row. You can put any. So we already put, we chose A. Okay, if you want to see it clear, you can say A. And I want specific, okay, I want specific column. You can just say maybe I want column called teams. If you go ahead, it says, hello, I'm here. So I'm A, this is the record that you're looking for. You have specified that you want a record. So locate a record called A, you see, and then it's from the column called teams. So you can also say, I just don't want the teams only. I'll say, maybe I also want to see the points or the goals. So I'll come here, I'll say, okay, now you have the goals. So just be sure to write them as precisely as the way it is written over here so that you don't miss anything. And then it says, okay, so the record A, I mean, the teams and the goals. So assuming that at this particular example, we have 3 columns, teams, goals, and points. Now, when you're doing your classification task or your machine learning task, okay, of any kind, you might be, it's very possible that you're dealing with huge data sets, like your data files will be very, very huge with so many records. So this will be very, very useful if you want to search for a specific column or specific rows or specific records. So here I can also say, now I want another one, maybe A and maybe D, column D. So it says, there you go. I just gave you what you wanted. You wanted 2 rows, which is A and D, and the columns, teams, and goals. So there you go. You see the record. You might want to save this into another data frame. It's a separate data frame. Yes, depends on the task that you want to do. Again, you can just go on and on and on. You can do as much as you want. Another style to do this, to use loc method. I like to use the loc, it's okay. You can say league info, and then dot, you call the method or the function, and then you can say, I'm not going to, you can see here, I just use kind of like a nested list inside. Now in here, you can just say, I want to find A, and then put, so this column's like from A to, you see, like means from A to, I haven't specified to where, so it will just take me to like infinity. And then I can just say from, or maybe I'll put here points, because in this I'm specifying a column, points. I can put it here and run it. You see what I get? This is like saying, I want you to find me. Okay, I'm specifying the label of the row. So this label of the row says from row number A up to like the final row. So that it takes all the rows, you see, and from dash dash up to points. So here says it's from A up to infinity, like the whole, like this is like returning everything, because you start from A to J, because that's the final. I didn't specify the final here. I put a comma, and in the columns, it starts from dash dash, which is the first column, up to this column points. Turns out to, in our case, this is the last column, you see? So if I want to change it and see, maybe, so I can show you what I mean, or the difference is I want to view from A, I specify now to E, you see? But the columns from dash dash to points. If I run this, you see the differences now. It says, I want to see from A to E, which is actually from A here to E here, okay? And points, it means from dash dash to points, from a specific column. You see, if you have like hundreds of columns, you just display all the columns until you reach this column, which is this one. Now, in this case, this is the final column. So you see, like it's just bringing all the columns. So what if we change it to say, maybe to goals? So it will take all the columns from here to goals, which is the 2 columns, but it won't take the final column, the points. You see, this is exactly what I mean. So you can specify either by using the first style where you put, square brackets and then a comma, then a square brackets in the first pair of square, in the first pair of square brackets, you specify all your rows. And then in the second pair of square brackets, you specify the labels of all your columns. Or you can use this approach where you use the column, which shows you that you don't have to put a pair of square brackets inside. You just say from this column to this column and that column to all the columns. Again, it might be that you want to slice your data. As I said, it's data slicing. You might want to slice your data from a specific portion. Like I want to take the first 10 rows. If I have like 100 rows, maybe I want to take the first 50 rows or the first 80 rows and then put them in training. So all the records, I might select all the column from all the first rows and then to the rest. Okay, so it just works that way. Now again, if you just go to another one, okay, so we have seen this one already. Now let's go to league info because I didn't modify this. Before league info, I'll just say now I want to show you how to use the iloc. As I said, it's pretty similar. Just the only thing differs is here I use labels, in iloc you use the numerals. So I'll say data slicing using iloc method, iloc function. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call this original data frame because it hasn't been manipulated. And then I'll display it to see, yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use, the iloc method. So I'll say, for the iloc, this is the way it looks. Now, what you see here, remember one thing, okay? What you see here are the labels, but deep down inside, your data frames are still recognize these indexes in terms of zeros and ones. So this will be a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. And the same applies here. This will be a 0, 1, 2. So when we're using the iloc method, remember we're using it only with numerals, but it does not matter. It might not have numerals, but it does not matter. Deep down, if it's a Pandas data frame, it has numerals. It's like it understands indexes in terms of a 0. The numerals, like the digits. So here, I'll say, slice me the data. I'll say league info dot iloc. The difference, I said, in here, you don't pass the labels now, you pass the numbers, okay? So the numbers in here, I'm going to have to say, I'm going to say, again, the first, like I used there, I'm not going to change anything. I'll just say, now select me, 0 to, okay, just say 2 to maybe 4. You see, these are my columns. You see, these are my rows, like 0 to 4. Okay, let's start the first method like we used right above there. Say I want select me from 2 to 4. And then remember this method. And then because I know I have like 3, so I don't have to put much like beyond because I don't have as many rows, as many columns. So I'll just say column number 2 and then run this. Okay, it's an invalid syntax. Oh, sorry. If you're putting this one using commas, okay. Sorry, it's iloc. Okay, it works pretty fine. Now see the returns, it says C and 4. Now remember, if you say C, it means you said this is the third, because 0, 1, 2. You see here. Similarly, this is 0, 1, 2. So by saying a 2, it means you're returning this specific row. And then you say 2, 4, and 4, it means it starts from a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you return E and C. That's exactly what you wanted. And you said you wanted the column number 2. So column number 2, specify column number 2, you start with the column number 0, column number 1, column number 2. You see, that is exactly what you retrieved here. So just say, hey, I want you to give me this guy. You know, it's a point here because it has a label, but deep down, we know that it has numerals. These are indices, which are actually in terms of numerals. So you can say, also, I want a 0, 1, and 2, this one. So you just take these guys. That's what you wanted. Again, you can do the same here. You can use another style, like the first style here, another style using the iloc method. You come back here, you say, all right, call my object this link info, use the iloc, put the brackets. Now I don't want to put the square brackets. I just want to use, I don't want to put the, a pair of square brackets inside. I just want to put, use the colon. So I say from 2, you see, like from 2 above. So it is just the second row, 0, 1, 2, which is this one, the third row. All the way you can specify to where you want it to go, like from 2 to maybe 5. It's not a markdown, sorry. It's code. So from 2 maybe to 5, and then put a comma. This was the row part. Now in here we separate the row part with a comma, and this stands from like and this way where the full column stands from like means from a specific location to a specific location, okay, from a specific index to a specific index. So here I'll say the columns, I know I have only 3 columns, so 0, 1, 2, that's the maximum. I'll say okay, now I want 1, 2, 2. If I come here, if I run this, it just works. Okay, 0, 1, 2. Now remember, this one is 1, 2, so it takes 2, and this one takes like in between. So in between there is only 1, this one, okay? Now I might want to say maybe from 0 to 2. See, so in between this, that's what you have, and in between this, that's what you have. So again, you might want to specify like from here to here, and then maybe if I want to say I want the first, whatever. So I'll say I want the first specific rows. I'll say league info. Say I want from the beginning, like everything from all the beginning all the way to this guy, all the way to maybe number 5, so, or number 6, and then put a comma, and then like everything to like number 2, and then sorry, I missed this one as well. Okay, oops, that's okay. Okay, so this one should work fine. is, oops, an invalid key. What did I do? Specify. This is iloc, okay? So it's fine. Just remove the error. Now it tells you that you have to find for me from the beginning to number 6. So it says, okay, you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like all these rows from the beginning to number 6. So it doesn't take this one. This number 6 is exclusively. And then you say from the beginning to number 2. So you just take, okay, take 0 and 1, which is teams and goals. So that's the records that you have. So here you say, I want a portion from the beginning to the end. And then this is how you slice your data, especially when you want to do data analysis. Okay, so this marks the end of today's presentation. Now, thank you guys for watching.